Anyway, he gives up. I blew my job. I'm never going to be able to pay for this house. And his cook says, we're serving breakfast. Yeah, what do you got there? And he says, it's ham. He says, if it ain't wham, what's the name of it? If it ain't wham, it ain't ham. He said, that's it. So she gives him the idea. He's working 6 months on it. So
a lot of ideas actually came about like that. Like with Coca-Cola, someone suggested they used to serve these things as actual tonics in the pharmacy,
Yeah.
And like Coca-Cola contained coca leaf, would pep you up.
Yeah.
7-Up had lithium in it, but someone said, "Why don't you bottle it?" So
yeah.
I don't know if you got any fighter's fee for that or not, but
Oh yeah, a lot of things have come out of just
I think vulcanizing was an accident too. The guy something caught fire with the tire and the rubber and the canvas. Hey, look at this.
Yeah, it is.
Penicillin?
And cornflakes.
Penicillin? No?
Cornflakes was an accident.
Was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, a guy spilled it on the hot plate, and
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it, but he did it.
The guy that came up with Doritos, well, he saw it, and he said, "Hey, that's a great idea." Oh, the other thing is they said cooking. Some Chinese fellow had a fire in his house, and the food tasted better. So he said, "You know what? I'm going to have a fire about every other day in my house."
Yeah, the potato chip, I think, also was kind of an accident, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I think you're talking about Greek lightning there.
Greek lightning, yeah.
We had a lot of that.
Yeah, potato chip. I bet.
I was
Chinese
wondering,
made a fortune out of that cookie.
did anyone ever travel to Europe any? If you go to Greece, do Americans run the restaurants there? Is it?
I saw one the other day. You know how your mother used to tell you, "Hey, eat all of your food there." There's a lot of kids in
Chinese.
China. Well, then now it says the Chinese mother is saying, "Eat all of your food." There's a lot of kids in America that
they're starving.
and
Yeah.
it's getting to that point.
Turnabout, huh?
It's true.
Yeah.
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 They have, but the truth of it is that China still has huge poverty. There is the notion that China is making money hand over fist. There are people in the city that are doing well in China, but they say there are probably 300 or 400 million people in China living in poverty today out in the countryside.
Like two different worlds there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a different world.
And the
right.
Chinese, the ones with money, they're
making huge amounts
and
of
they're
money.
moving out, and they're trying to get dual citizenship. Just
They come to Las Vegas and
In
places
case,
too.
yeah.
Yeah, they could come to Chicago to our casino, and when we get one,
No, you
Come to our fire museum
come
and
to our
visit here
fire
and
museum.
join up.
Yeah, we accept whatever. What is it, the Bemidji or something, or
When I went to France, I had all kinds of, dreams of the French women, the ones that you'd see here in the movies and that. But boy, oh boy, was I surprised.
Yeah.
Was I surprised?
surprised or shocked?
Shocked.
Shocked and
Yeah.
stunned.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dreams were
Yeah.
gone.
Maybe you were a shock to them too. Think of it that way. So,
What was the song that came out of World War I? How you going to keep them down on the farm out? They've seen Paris.
After they
Did you
see
see Paris?
yeah.
Were you in Paris?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
My son was consummated in the shadow of the Eiffel Tower.
Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I had
Well,
my wife over there.
yeah.
Oh,
That's why you weren't looking at the women, right? You didn't need
Well, and
to.
I wasn't looking at the Eiffel Tower either.
No. So,
It was the longest ride from Orly Field to that hotel that I ever had. The longest ride.
longest ride, yeah. Mhm.
how many Frenchmen does it take to defend Paris? We don't know. It's never been tried.
Yeah. Let's not get into that.
I know. I can tell some equal ones for
Yeah.
everybody else too. So.
Anyway, just looking at the museum here, we have Columbus in the background. We got Commissioner Corrigan battling the 34 Stockyards fire. We have relics there from even the volunteer days, wood and water main. Lots of. You can walk through here and go through 150 years of Our Lady of Angels. We have a mock-up besides the picture of Fireman Scheid carrying the boy out of the school.
What is the red and blue uniform? Is that a dress uniform that I'm seeing here in a case to my right? It's like a dress
Oh,
uniform with
yeah.
red and with blue facings.
Yeah, that's
Is that a dress uniform?
Yeah, that's a dress uniform for the volunteers, John.
for the fire department.
Yeah,
Probably
volunteer
on the
firemen.
East Coast.
Well, and we did here too.
Here in
We had-
Chicago?
Yeah, we had a
Yeah.
volunteer fire department. They always were proud of their organization, and so they dressed up and they had some very ornate belts, etc.
When did it become then like a full-time profession, occupation in the city?
In Chicago,
Yeah.
it was in 1858. We just
Oh, really?
celebrated 150 years, you know, and it was as a result of the city expanding into a large city and going up. We already had 5- and 6-story buildings, and we had being protected by hand engines that you had to pump by hand, you know.
I remember there's a scene in that film, Gangs in New York, that Martin Scorsese film of one of his years back in New York, and it's like you call the wrong fire department, they're fighting over who's gonna. I mean, you probably had things like that going on too.
Oh, sure, yeah. Did you ever hear the term plug ugly?
Yeah,
You know what that refers to?
a gang or something.
No, part of the gang, but they had volunteer fire companies had rivalries, you know, who would get to the fire first, who would get first water. So they would hire uglies, so to speak, and they would guard the plug, the fire plug, the fire hydrant. And when a company would pull up that was not theirs, they'd fight with them and push them off until their company got there, and then they'd let them hook up to the hydrant, so.
And
they call
we
them-
still had that rivalry when,
Yeah.
when I was on the job, when
Yeah.
Ken was around.
Yeah.
And not so much anymore, because of maybe the working hours or whatever, but, you always fought to get in first.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
You know,
Yeah, fight for a hydrant. too.
you had a
Fight
fight
for
for a
hydrant,
hydrant,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And who's gonna get water on that fire
Fire
first?
first, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I tell you, and most of the guys that have been around that have the feelings that we do, you did not want to be left off of going to a fire. You just didn't. I think, of course, I was in the Army when Our Lady of the Angels, but everybody you talk to say, "Am I glad I didn't go there?"
Yeah,
You know, the guys that go there, that went there, like this Dick Scheid and some of these other people, they wouldn't talk about it.
You're never the same, I'm sure.
Never the same.
Yeah.
Never the same.
I was there, and I'm just saying,
Well, Sal, you've never changed. You know.
If there's, if you have H2O on the inside of a hydrant, what do you get on the outside? K9P.
There you go.
very good.
Boy, there's another one.
Yeah, yeah. That's Southsiders. Okay,
Bad humor.
Jack, what's in water that puts out fire?
What's in water?
That puts out fire?
Oh, come on.
Fireman
Jack.
taking a bath?
No, fireboat.
Oh.
Oops.
Okay, now, this house that we're in right now, gentlemen, was once engine company 123, is that right?
Yeah.
Was there any other apparatus in here besides 123?
They had Ambulance 8 was organized here,
Okay.
and they covered the whole practically southwest
I
side.
saw them this morning when I was coming here.
Did you? Yeah. They're still together around the corner. And then for a while, it was headquarters for the 26th Battalion, before
Okay.
Ambulance 8 was here.
Was that the Cadillacs when they were organized, or?
Yeah, although their first rig, and we have a picture of it, was a Mercury,
Oh, yeah?
a body by Siebert. And then when Mayor Daley came in, God bless him, in 1955, actually, he took office. In 56, the fire department bought 11 Cadillac ambulances. We had 2 in service prior to that time. And they actually, Ambulance 8 got a 57 Cadillac. They still had their Mercury. By the way, when they were organized, their district was, we're 5200 south, 2400 west. They went from Racine to the city limits west,
Yeah.
from the Sanitary and Ship Canal to 87th Street. But it was for accidents.
That was my house.
Yeah, for accidents.
You know, when the ambulances were very first ones, weren't for the public. They were for the firemen.
For the firemen,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Yeah, that's how the whole
Just
thing
a
started.
support unit, like for the,
Yeah.
Right, right.
Because they saw firemen being injured. We lost a lot of firemen in the late 20s, and there was no convenient way to get them to a hospital, you know.
Right.
Fire chief's car, police wagon, fire truck, a taxi cab. I got a record of,
so it was just like being the medic in the service, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, just have
Yeah.
the same.
Comparable, sure.
yeah, you get them to the
Not just like,
hospital.
but, you know.
Yeah.
And when did this firehouse close?
You know, I guess it, when? 74? Yeah, Jack says 74. And they combined, they're literally around the corner, you
Yeah.
know, on 51st Street.
Yeah, I've been
And
there a
then-
couple
yeah.
times, yeah.
And then they had, they eventually put truck 39, tower lighter 39 with them, and so, but 123 and ambulance 8 are still together.
Are any houses like this still in use in Chicago?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Probably the one everybody remembers is the one across from Wrigley Field.
Engine
Old
seven.
78.
I've heard of that,
It's
yes.
identical to this house.
I've heard of that,
Yeah.
yes.
Stairway, everything is, I guess pretty much the interior is
Is this
identical.
terrazzo floor original?
Pardon?
No,
terrazzo floor.
no, they were taken out.
Yeah,
OSHA.
yeah. That,
OSHA regulation.
yeah, we took
Well,
them out. We took, yeah,
They
they,
stole them before that.
yeah,
No Poles, no Slovaks.
no, right, yeah.
So many firemen broke their ankles sliding those poles that
Yeah.
their wives said, no more, get the poles out of there. He's got to go to that other job.
Yeah,
Wow.
but all the firehouses that have a
We
second
will
floor,
have one here, though.
yeah, they all have poles. They never took them out of active firehouses. In fact, when they opened Engine 13's house in '82 at 259 North Columbus Drive, they have poles there. They're stainless steel. They're not brass, but the short slide. I've never seen anybody ever slide one of them, but they you know, because the officers and the rooms in the dormitory are all on the second floor.
Didn't they have wooden poles?
And originally, the first pole, which was
98's house, I think was.
engine 21, was a black company. First fireman to slide was a black fireman in the history of firefighting, and that was in 1878. White officer came up with the idea, and but it was wooden, and he had to get permission to put a hole in the floor. The chief fire marshal wasn't too thrilled about that, but then he noticed they were coming in first on fires at nighttime ahead of other companies.
Was that an innovation in Chicago too? the
Yeah,
pole? Okay.
yeah, 1878, yeah. Chicago had a lot of innovations, you know, snorkel and,
Shepherd hook.
Shepherd
what we
hook.
call a shepherd hook,
yeah,
which is,
yeah. It should be one on the engine. I think there is one
should
on the
be
engine.
one on there. Oh, yes, there is.
Yeah.
I see it here.
Yeah,
A shepherd hook is a long piece of pipe with a hook on the end of it that you would put on a railing
hauling
or
up hoses, yeah,
on
Yeah.
pass it like on a fire
a
escape.
windowsill or whatever, and on the other end you'd have your hose, and that's the way you got it up to the upper floor.
Yeah, you get 3 firemen on a fire escape, and you just hand it up to them, and you're pulling the hose up at the same
And
time.
that was a Chicago operation by a guy by the name of Shepherd, who was very active with the Chicago Fire Insurance Patrol.
Oh, that was a question I was going to ask. What about Fire Insurance Patrol? When they, what years were they around? Still in the 50s they go out of business, or?
Yeah, they started October 2nd, 1871. A week later, had their firehouse, their patrol house destroyed by the Great Chicago Fire, and they stayed in service till 1959.
Yeah.
And at that time, they had 4 houses with 6 companies, so they had two companies.
We used to pass one, my dad would point it out, around 49th or 50th in Union.
Yeah.
50th and
50th
Union.
in Union.
50th?
It's now Chicago Firehouse.
Yeah, I know that. I remember he pointed that out too. My dad was great for stuff like that, to point out these things, you know.
What did he do? Was
My
he
dad worked for Central Steel as a
Oh.
power assuresman, then he was in the shipping office. We spent 34 years there.
47th?
He was an electrician's mate in the Navy.
Oh, okay. 47th and Kedzie in there?
51st, yeah.
51st,
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. They responded to, you know, to all alarms in their district, generally all alarms.
They never went west of Cicero, though.
You know, Patrol 7 went to Cicero, but they used to help
Yeah.
Engine 7, right?
No, they never followed west of Cicero.
No, but east of Cicero they
east of
did,
Cicero.
yeah.
East of Cicero we did.
Yeah, I don't know how
Cicero
big-
is our boundary.
Yeah, I don't know how
Yeah.
big Patrols 3 and 4, they were at 50th Union. They covered the whole south side.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you know.
Who worked for them? Were they full-time